So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me first, a little bit about the industry that I work in, and then we'll go from there. So married, 2 kids, 17 years in healthcare. Worked in large and small companies. Recently sold a system integrator business. Started a company called Clinic to Cloud about 3 years ago. We employ approximately 100 people, directly and indirectly. Very, very passionate about healthcare. And I'm very impatient. Healthcare is a subject that touches a lot of people. What I'm not is I'm not a developer. I couldn't cut code to save my life. So what does the business look like? Clinic to Cloud is a true cloud-based application. It was built from the ground up as a cloud product for the healthcare sector. It was built around the Microsoft Azure environment. The company started about 3 years ago, but we grew it very quickly. So in the past 3 years, we went from 0 to thousands of users, 1.5 million patients. We operate out of Australia, but we also have clients out of Singapore, Malaysia, and growing in the region as well. So yes, I have the Hololens. But first, I have to tell you about healthcare. That was supposed to be a sad face. So why is healthcare interesting? It's a number of factors. It touches everybody, every single person. Not everyone's a developer, but everyone needs healthcare. So it touches a lot of people. The population is growing, and the healthcare system is under stress. And we're aging, we live longer. So the population is growing, we live longer, we need more ways to deal with healthcare. Chronic disease is a problem, so diabetes, hypertension, etc. Because of the way we eat, the way we live, the longer we live, the wealthier we are, the more fancy we get with our food, etc. So with all these stresses on the healthcare system, we need more solutions. We need to be more creative. We need to create better ways of managing healthcare. A quiz. Who knows the answer? So we are still doctor-centric. There are some there are technologies that threaten every profession in the world at the moment, including healthcare. But at the moment, we are doctor-centric, so we need doctors. So everything we design, everything we develop, we've got 3 key stakeholders. Our stakeholders, from our business perspective, are the doctor, their support teams, and the patient. Up until recently, the patient, which is usually us, right? They were like a commodity. There was somebody that comes in, pays for a service, gets something done. They didn't have a say in healthcare. Typically, the patient doesn't make decisions on healthcare. You just go up, the doctor says, you need to do this, you need to do that. You don't need to know anything else. But that's changing. And that change is driving technology as well. Right? Changes like these are what keeps this team busy. So let's talk about the doctor first. Doctor wants flexibility. They don't want to be told, this is all you're allowed to use. Doctor wants to do what the doctor wants to do. Right? Mobility. Doctors are not working out of one location anymore like the old days. They move around, hospital to hospital. And who knows what doctors sell? So yes, they treat us, but what are they actually selling? Would you agree that they're selling time? Right? You heard some of the other presenters talk about efficiency and the way we design products and the user experience. This is at the heart of it, essentially. So doctors sell time. And anything we design for them has to be in a way that protects their time. So the care teams, they also can, so their efficiency affects the patient and affects the doctor's time. So the better the tools are for them, the more effective they are. Back to the earlier point, the patient is the most underutilized resource in healthcare. Up until now, the patient just rocks up and says, okay, I've got pain here, fix me. That's it. The other thing you do is sometimes you fill out forms. You fill out forms, you give it to them, and then the doctors, the nurses, all the teams, they do everything for you. But as a patient, me as a patient, I want to be in charge of my health record. I want to have access to my health record. I want to be able to control it. Make sure the data is accurate. But the patient journey, depending on how ill you are, can be quite complex. So this is an example of the patient journey. You go through so much. It's overwhelming. It's hard to manage and control. But again, we need to enable the patient. What is the one thing you hate about going to the doctor? Apart from being sick, obviously. But let's say you're at the doctor's practice. I just looked this up on Twitter. These are not people that I know. I just did a search for waiting time in a clinic. Who loves waiting at the doctor's? No one, right? People are complaining. If you go on Twitter, you just do a search, random search, you see a lot of these. And last time I was here in Sri Lanka a few weeks ago, somebody retweeted for me and they were complaining about waiting for 3 hours to see a doctor. It's the same across the world, everywhere. Everyone hates that waiting time. What does everyone want? By everyone, I mean us as people. I mean as governments. We want to stay healthy. I don't want to go to the doctors. I don't want to get sick. I'd rather not. Unfortunately, we do, but I'd rather not. And if I do get sick, I definitely don't want to go to a hospital. If you can treat me while I'm in my house without even coming to your surgery, that's even better, right? If I can get treatment from home, I'm going to be happy. I don't have to go anywhere. Now, if I did get treatment, then I want the fastest possible recovery. I'm already sick, but I don't want to be sick for too long. 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, whatever it is. But the faster, the better. And the most important thing, if you look at the cost of healthcare, the most important thing is to make sure people don't get sick again with the same thing. If people end up in hospital for any reason, the worst thing that can happen is they get readmitted. That makes up about 20% of the cost in healthcare. And a lot of these readmissions are to do with in-hospital infections. So sometimes you come to a hospital with a problem, you end up with 2 problems, because that's the nature of hospitals. So again, if we can stop people from going to hospitals, if we can use technology to stop people from going to hospitals, then we're going to reduce the rate of infections. When dealing with healthcare, it's very personal, right? So you've got to take some things into account. Security is a big thing. The last thing you want, or anyone wants, is their health record leaked online, WikiLeaked. But at the same time, you need the right amount of data at the point of care. So if I'm a doctor and I'm treating someone here, then I want their file here. I want to know their history and what's going on with them right here, right now, because I'm dealing with this patient right now. You want to be compliant, and you want to control who's got access to what. Why did I tell you all this? Because I want this crowd to think of the possibilities for healthcare with a HoloLens? I don't have all the answers. I've got some suggestions, but I want you to get a visual of what the healthcare world looks like from a technology perspective, from a doctor perspective, from a patient perspective, and then you can think about how you can use some wonderful technology like the HoloLens. So this next slide is a video that was recorded with the HoloLens, but obviously in a minute, I'll show you a few slides about the HoloLens, and then we'll put it on and get a few people to try it, and we'll live stream it as well. So the HoloLens is what is known as augmented reality, not virtual reality. So it's a holographic world, a virtual world that's inside the real world. So when you're wearing the lens, it's not closed off. You can still see the real world, and whatever interactions you have with the real world and the virtual world at the same time. That's why it's so unique. Today, one of the best use cases is education. So there are universities who have started developing for the HoloLens and around the education of medical students. Last time I was here, we were demonstrating how you could do a colon fly-through. You're probably the only person that understands that. I didn't know what that was till that time. But so it's like an ultrasound of inside the person, and the ultrasound was being projected through the HoloLens. So this is the thinking, obviously. These are the things I want you to think about, and hopefully from healthcare, but it can be other areas as well. Oops. Okay. So some of the areas to consider are hygiene, education. So if you have a hologram that can show you how to perform surgery without having to actually touch something, without a second set of hands touching the patient, then again, that's going to reduce the issue of hygiene. Rural areas, there are a lot of people who live in rural countries and they have no access to healthcare. So this could be another example of reaching them and treating them. Or rehabilitation. If someone's had surgery and you need them, for example, if you had shoulder surgery and you need to do shoulder exercises. Collaboration, so teams, again, part of education, collaboration. So one doctor in one location can collaborate with another doctor. You can be operating at the same time, streaming the procedure, or guided procedures, which is another really cool example. So the holograms will project onto whether you're building a house or you're operating on a person. So you can project the hologram and follow the process that the hologram will demonstrate to you. I thought of this last minute, actually, even today. Imagine a HoloLens-based diagnosis. Imagine the x-rays done through here. So patient walks in, you put this on, and you can see what's wrong immediately without having to send them somewhere else. I don't know all the answers. I'm just imagining possibilities. I guess everyone here has a saying, so I thought I'd bring one as well. Who's ever played Atari? All the old guys, put your hands up. So the best things in life should be easy to learn and difficult to master. And I think that's in line with the theme of this event so far. Everyone's talking about keeping it simple, keeping it easy. Would you like to see a demo of the HoloLens? You want to come up? Let me just set it up. till mapping. So I'll just do a quick demo first, and then I'll pass it on. Okay. I'll get you to turn around. So you want to remove? Yeah. You can do the bloom. So fingers together and then open them quickly. The other way. Face them up and open it quickly. Open them. No, put fingers together and then open. Which one do you want to press on?
I can't control this.
Sorry?
I can control this.
It's okay. Just do. Okay. Do the bloom again. Yeah. Do the bloom. The menu's gone. See the elephant? Look that way. Point at the ballerina. The ballerina. Yeah. You had enough?
Thanks.
Who else wants to try? Who else wants to have a go? Good? Okay, do the bloom. Yeah, and open.
Can I click somewhere?
Yeah, you can. Which one are you clicking? You point with your head. So point the cursor. Your head's the cursor. Put your head on an icon and then click. So do the bloom again. Move that. Now point on one of the holograms. Point the head. Yep.
I'm trying to
Point the cursor down. Go down.
Then I can't see. If I
Yeah,
raise-
like that.
Okay.
No, point it down. Head down.
It's not for me.
No. Mark, do you want to try? So just a quick crash course. So when you put it on, the bloom,
Yeah.
you know all
brings
the,
up the
yeah, and your head's the cursor.
Yeah.
So point with your head
Okay.
and then tap with your finger.
All right.
I'll help you with the tapping. Is it good?
Let's see.
So point it at a hologram. Choose one, doesn't matter. just tap it. Tap again and it will stay there. Cool.
Just click.
Yep. Just a full click all the way up.
All
Just
right.
drop here.
Drag.
No, just click and then it comes out.